Imagine stepping back in time to 957 BC, standing before one of the most breathtaking structures ever built, the legendary Temple of Solomon. Its walls, gleaming with pure gold, reflected the morning sun like a divine beacon. But this was more than just a temple. It was a declaration of power, wisdom, and divine connection, a monument that has fascinated historians, theologians, and mystics for centuries. Beyond its architectural brilliance, Solomon's temple concealed secrets and mysteries, buried deep within its sacred halls. Inside these golden walls, thousands of priests performed rituals of immense power, sacred artifacts lay hidden, and King Solomon himself wielded supernatural influence over invisible forces. He was not just a ruler, but a legendary figure, known for his unmatched wisdom, immense wealth, and the enigmatic power he possessed. But what if I told you that Solomon's influence extended beyond human limits? That he had a divine ring, an artifact granting him command over supernatural beings? Ancient texts reveal that Solomon enslaved demons to construct his grand works, unlocked forbidden knowledge, and even altered the fate of nations. This is not just history. This is a glimpse into a world where the spiritual and the physical collided in ways that defy explanation. However, Solomon's empire was not built on wisdom alone. It was shaped by alliances, seduction, and power plays within his harem of 1,000 wives, a world where beauty, intelligence, and manipulation decided the balance of power. In this deep exploration, we will uncover the hidden truths about King Solomon, his divine wisdom, forbidden practices, and mystical forces. We will delve into the elaborate rituals of the temple, the seductive games within the royal palace, and the arcane secrets that historians have debated for centuries. You will discover how the greatest king of Israel built his empire, how his supernatural power shaped history, and why his legacy remains shrouded in mystery. Stay with me until the end, because the final revelation will change everything you thought you knew about King Solomon. We will uncover a hidden force, an entity tied to his legendary ring, a being so powerful that its existence has been concealed for centuries. Are you ready to embark on a journey into the most enigmatic chapter of ancient history? Then let's begin. The construction of Solomon's temple was one of the most ambitious projects of the ancient world. Built atop Mount Moriah in Jerusalem, it stood as a symbol of divine power, wealth, and unparalleled craftsmanship. Commissioned by King Solomon, the temple took 7 years to complete and required the labor of 180,000 workers, including stonemasons, carpenters, and goldsmiths. Every detail of its design followed divine instructions, ensuring that it became the holiest place on earth for the Israelites. But beyond its religious significance, the temple was a political statement, a declaration that Solomon's kingdom was blessed by the heavens and destined for greatness. At dawn, the temple shimmered under the golden sunlight, its walls covered in pure gold, reflecting divine radiance. Enormous cedars from Lebanon, known for their durability and strength, were carefully transported over vast distances, forming the temple's core structure. Skilled artisans from Phoenicia, the finest craftsmen of the ancient world, intricately carved patterns into the stone, ensuring that every inch of the temple exuded grandeur and reverence. Workers labored tirelessly, following strict sacred guidelines, as even the tools used in construction were consecrated, preserving the temple's purity from foundation to pinnacle. The dimensions of the temple were staggering: 30 meters long, 10 meters wide, and 15 meters high, a scale that made it one of the most imposing religious structures of its time. The outer courtyards were paved with rare stones gathered from distant lands, each stone carrying a story of conquest, alliance, or divine blessing. 2 massive bronze pillars, named Jachin and Boaz, towered over the entrance, their surfaces adorned with intricate engravings and crowned with pomegranates and chains, symbols of fertility, strength, and spiritual unity. These pillars were not mere decorations. They held deep esoteric significance, possibly encoding ancient mystical knowledge. Inside, the temple's inner sanctuary, known as the Holy of Holies, was a realm of mystical energy, so sacred that only the high priest could enter, and even then, only once a year. This chamber housed the Ark of the Covenant, a relic believed to contain the power of God himself. The walls of the Holy of Holies were lined with solid gold, creating an ethereal atmosphere that reflected the flickering flames of eternal lamps. At the heart of this chamber stood two colossal cherubim, their wings stretching across the room, symbols of divine protection and celestial wisdom. Yet Solomon's temple was not merely a monument to faith, it was an engineering marvel. Beneath its structure lay a complex system of tunnels and aqueducts, ensuring a constant flow of pure water for rituals, purification ceremonies, and the sustenance of the vast priesthood. These underground passages remain a topic of mystery, with some historians suggesting they may have hidden ancient secrets, perhaps even lost treasures or mystical texts. The precision with which the temple was constructed continues to baffle archaeologists, leading some to believe that divine intervention played a role in its completion. Despite its magnificence, Solomon's temple was not just a place of worship. It was the spiritual and political heart of an empire. It attracted visitors, dignitaries, and rulers from across the known world, drawn not only to its beauty, but to witness firsthand the wisdom and power of King Solomon. This temple solidified his status as a ruler blessed by the divine, and its grandeur ensured that his legacy would endure for millennia. But this was just the beginning. The temple was filled with sacred rituals, music, and prophecies, a place where the divine and mortal worlds intertwined. Yet, within its golden halls, a darker mystery loomed, one that would test the faith of an entire nation. What secrets lay hidden in the shadows of Solomon's reign? What mysteries did the temple's golden halls conceal? Stay with me, because what comes next will change everything. As the first rays of sunlight illuminated the golden walls of Solomon's temple, a symphony of rituals unfolded within its sacred precincts. This was no ordinary place of worship. It was a cosmic portal, where the divine and mortal realms intertwined through meticulously orchestrated ceremonies. Priests, dressed in pure white linen robes, moved in precise formations, their actions dictated by laws older than the kingdom itself. Every morning, the massive bronze gates of the temple were unlocked, allowing the first wave of worshippers to enter. Their footsteps echoed against the polished stone as they approached the central altar, where the day's first sacred offerings would take place. At the heart of the temple stood the sacrificial altar, a colossal bronze structure, where daily offerings were made to maintain the covenant between Israel and God. The Tamid offering, performed at dawn, was the first sacrifice of the day, a spotless lamb, whose blood was sprinkled upon the altar as a renewal of divine favor. The smoke from the sacrifice spiraled into the heavens, carrying the prayers of the people before the throne of God. Alongside the offering, the priests placed fine flour, olive oil, and frankincense, each ingredient infused with deep spiritual meaning. These rituals were believed to preserve the cosmic balance, ensuring divine protection and prosperity for the nation. The air inside the temple was thick with the scent of sacred incense, a secret blend so potent that its exact formula was known only to an elite group of priests. Burned on the golden altar of incense, this fragrant smoke filled the temple, symbolizing prayers ascending to the divine. Some legends suggest that this incense contained ingredients with mystical properties, capable of healing, protection, and even revealing hidden truths. This formula was so sacred that anyone caught attempting to replicate it for personal use was sentenced to death, a decree that underscored its divine exclusivity. Inside the temple, music was not mere entertainment. It was a divine language. The Levitical musicians, trained from childhood, played harps, lyres, cymbals, and trumpets, their melodies resonating through the halls in perfect celestial harmony. These were not ordinary compositions. They were chants dictated by King David himself, infused with powerful divine energy and designed to invoke the presence of God. As the choirs sang, the air within the temple seemed to shimmer with an invisible force, as though the heavens themselves had drawn closer to listen. These psalms were not just hymns. They were spiritual invocations, protective spells, and divine connections woven into sound. One of the most mysterious rituals performed inside the temple was the changing of the showbread, 12 sacred loaves representing the 12 tribes of Israel, placed upon a golden table in the holy place. Every Sabbath, fresh loaves were arranged in a precise order, while the previous week's bread, which miraculously never grew stale, was consumed by the priests. It was believed that this bread was infused with divine energy, and legends whispered that those who ate it gained wisdom beyond mortal comprehension, a secret jealously guarded by the inner circle of the temple. Yet, beyond the grandeur and spectacle, the temple held a far darker mystery, a place so sacred that even its mention sent shivers down the spines of the most devout priests. This was the Holy of Holies, the inner sanctum of the temple, where the Ark of the Covenant was enshrined. No mortal could enter, except the high priest, and even then, only once a year. The ritual was so perilous that a rope was tied around the priest's waist, for if he were struck down by divine wrath, no one would dare enter to retrieve his body. What lay within this chamber of ultimate mystery? What power did the Ark truly possess? Stay with me, because what comes next will redefine everything you thought you knew about Solomon, his power, and the supernatural forces at play within his temple. Deep within the Holy of Holies, the Ark of the Covenant radiated an unseen power that only the most devout could withstand. The Ark was not just a relic, it was a direct connection to the divine, a sacred artifact said to contain the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, inscribed by the very hand of God. But the Ark was far more than a container of laws. It was a force of immense supernatural energy, capable of unleashing divine wrath upon those who approached it unworthily. Ancient scriptures describe how it could strike down entire armies, emit bolts of lightning, and destroy those who dared to touch it. Some believed it was a conduit of celestial power, something beyond human understanding. Legend suggests that within the Holy of Holies, the Ark was protected by invisible forces, celestial beings known as cherubim, whose presence was felt but never seen. These were no ordinary angels. They were guardians of divine mysteries, entities tasked with ensuring that the sacred power of the Ark remained untouched by unworthy hands. Some accounts claim that the air itself shimmered around the Ark, as though reality bent under its presence. Others tell of strange sounds and voices emanating from within the chamber, whispers of an ancient power not meant for mortal ears. Whatever the truth, one thing was certain. The Ark was not a mere artifact, but a gateway to something far greater. But why was the Ark so dangerous? Why did it require such intense secrecy and restriction? Some scholars theorize that the Ark was a vessel of raw divine energy, an object capable of channeling the very presence of God into the physical world. This theory aligns with biblical accounts of the Ark's power, where those who carried it into battle witnessed miraculous victories, while those who disrespected it faced sudden death. Some speculate that the Ark emitted a form of radiant energy, similar to an unseen fire, an unknown force that could purify or annihilate. Could it have been something beyond human comprehension? A lost piece of divine technology? The most terrifying aspect of the Ark's mystery was its sudden disappearance. The Temple of Solomon was plundered by the Babylonians, yet no historical record definitively states what happened to the Ark. Did it vanish into the hidden tunnels beneath the temple, placed in a sealed chamber by Solomon's most trusted priests? Or was it smuggled out of Jerusalem, carried through the desert to a secret sanctuary in Ethiopia, where some claim it still resides? Others suggest an even more radical theory, that the Ark was never meant to stay in human hands, that celestial forces reclaimed it, ensuring that its power would never be misused. If the Ark were ever to be found, would humanity even be prepared for its return? What secrets would it unlock? Could it be a key to lost divine knowledge, a force capable of reshaping the world? Or would it be too powerful, too dangerous for any ruler or civilization to control? Many have searched for it, from explorers to secret societies, but none have claimed to possess the true Ark. And perhaps that is for the best. The last time it was wielded, it altered the fate of nations. What would happen if it reappeared today? But the Ark was not the only source of power in Solomon's kingdom. The king himself wielded a supernatural force, an artifact so legendary that its influence extended beyond biblical accounts into mystical and esoteric traditions. This artifact was said to be a gift from the divine, a tool that granted Solomon unparalleled dominion over the seen and unseen worlds. It was known as Solomon's Ring, an object whose true power remains one of the greatest mysteries of history. Could Solomon's Ring have been even more powerful than the Ark? Some accounts say it held the ineffable name of God, an inscription so potent that it could command angels, spirits, and even demons. With this ring, Solomon was said to bend reality to his will, gaining control over supernatural entities that aided him in his divine mission. But where did this ring come from? Did it truly come from the heavens, or was it something far older? Something whose origins were buried in the depths of ancient knowledge? As we explore the legend of Solomon's Ring, we will uncover a truth more unsettling than any myth. Stay with me, because what comes next will challenge everything you thought you knew about power, magic, and the line between wisdom and temptation. Solomon's ring was no ordinary artifact. Described in ancient texts as a gift from the heavens, this ring was said to hold inscriptions of divine power, allowing Solomon to command not only men but also supernatural beings. Legends state that the ring bore the ineffable name of God, a sacred inscription so powerful that it granted the bearer absolute control over angels, spirits, and even demons. But was this simply a metaphor for his wisdom, or did Solomon truly possess an object of supernatural significance? Some scholars believe that this ring was not just a symbol of divine authority, but a key to hidden knowledge, a tool that unlocked secrets beyond human comprehension. The most mystifying aspect of Solomon's ring was its connection to the spiritual world. According to the ancient text, the Testament of Solomon, the king used the ring to bind and control 72 powerful demons, forcing them to assist in the construction of the temple. Each demon was said to possess unique abilities, ranging from the manipulation of the elements to the ability to reveal future events. Solomon, through his divine wisdom, questioned these entities, extracting from them arcane knowledge about the cosmos, the forces of nature, and the hidden mechanisms of existence. Was this mere legend, or had Solomon tapped into an ancient and forbidden source of wisdom? But this power came with a dangerous price. Some accounts suggest that the more Solomon used the ring, the more he danced on the edge between divine wisdom and occult knowledge. It is said that the ring did not just control demons, it attracted them. As Solomon's dominion over the supernatural grew, whispers spread that his wisdom was no longer purely divine, but tainted by forces beyond his control. Had Solomon unknowingly crossed a threshold, delving into knowledge meant to remain hidden from humanity? And if so, did this mark the beginning of his downfall? The ring's mysterious disappearance remains one of history's greatest unsolved enigmas. Some say it was stolen by a vengeful spirit, cast into the depths of the ocean where it could never be found again. Others claim that Solomon, sensing the danger it posed, ordered it to be hidden in a secret chamber beneath the temple, protected by divine seals that only the worthy could break. There are even theories that the ring was passed down in secret, carried through history by hidden societies who sought to preserve its power, or to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. If Solomon's ring were to resurface today, what would happen? Would it be wielded by a modern ruler, granting them the power to reshape the world? Or would it unleash ancient forces, disrupting the delicate balance between our realm and the unseen? Many have searched for this legendary artifact, but none have claimed to possess it. Perhaps this is for the best. If Solomon himself, the wisest of all kings, could not resist its influence, how could anyone else? But Solomon's dominion was not limited to the supernatural. While he ruled with divine wisdom, he also controlled the most intricate political system of his time. His alliances were forged not through war, but through diplomacy, wealth, and marriage. And this is where another of his great mysteries begins: his 1,000 wives. Were they merely symbols of political power? Or did they play a much deeper, more mystical role in his empire? What if Solomon's legendary harem was more than just a display of royal wealth and status? What if these women were not just queens and concubines, but powerful figures in their own right, bringing with them knowledge, spiritual practices, and even foreign deities? As we uncover the hidden world of Solomon's 1,000 wives, you will see that behind the grandeur of his kingdom lay a web of seduction, power, and unseen forces that shaped the fate of an empire. Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal the untold secrets of Solomon's greatest weakness. Solomon's harem was far more than a symbol of his wealth and status. It was a political masterpiece, a tool of diplomacy, and a battlefield of influence. With 700 wives of royal blood and 300 concubines, the women of his court represented the most powerful kingdoms of the ancient world. Each wife was more than just a consort. She was an ambassador of her nation, bringing with her the customs, languages, and, most importantly, the gods of her homeland. Marrying into Solomon's court meant securing alliances, ensuring trade agreements, and preventing wars. But what seemed like a strategy for peace may have been something far more dangerous, a spiritual invasion that would ultimately lead to Solomon's downfall. These women came from lands as diverse as Egypt, Phoenicia, Moab, Ammon, Sidon, and even Mesopotamia, each carrying her own beliefs, traditions, and deities. Some were priestesses, trained in the mystical arts of their cultures, fluent in ancient rituals and sacred practices. Solomon, in his endless pursuit of wisdom and knowledge, did not merely tolerate these foreign influences, he embraced them. Some texts suggest that he studied their magic, their divination, and their forbidden rites, believing that the merging of divine knowledge from different cultures would grant him ultimate enlightenment. But was this wisdom? Or was it temptation disguised as knowledge? As the years passed, the court of Solomon transformed into something unrecognizable. The great temple of Yahweh, once the holiest place in Israel, was now surrounded by altars to foreign gods. The women of his harem, who once stood as symbols of unity, now brought division. Some urged him to build shrines and offer sacrifices to their gods, whispering that true wisdom came not from one deity, but from understanding all divine forces. And Solomon, the wisest of all kings, listened. He erected altars to Ashtoreth, the goddess of fertility and war, to Moloch, the god of sacrifice, and to Chemosh, the deity of destruction. These were not simple idols. They were symbols of something much darker, representing rituals and traditions that defied the laws of Israel's God. But could these shrines have been more than mere religious sites? Some historians believe that within Solomon's private chambers, certain forbidden rituals were performed. Rituals that sought to tap into hidden forces, to communicate with realms beyond human reach. Were these foreign princesses simply wives, or were they initiates of something more powerful, more arcane? Did they bring with them mystical knowledge that Solomon, despite his divine favor, could not resist? If he controlled spirits through his ring, did these women introduce other means of harnessing supernatural power? This blending of the divine and the profane did not go unnoticed. The priests of Yahweh grew restless, the prophets began to speak against him, and soon, even the people of Israel murmured in discontent. How could the king anointed by God bow before the gods of other nations? How could he, the architect of the temple, also become the builder of altars to forbidden entities? It was at this moment that Solomon's kingdom began to fracture. The wisdom that had once built his empire was now the very thing pulling it apart. But what if Solomon knew this was coming? What if, in his final years, he foretold the collapse of his kingdom, the destruction of his temple, and the scattering of his people? Some ancient texts hint that as his visions darkened, he tried to undo what had been set in motion. But it was too late. The balance had already shifted. His kingdom would soon be divided, his temple destroyed, and his name forever linked to both glory and ruin. But Solomon's greatest secret had yet to be revealed. Hidden beneath the temple, within chambers sealed for eternity, lay artifacts of immense power, artifacts that some believe still exist today. What if the fall of his kingdom was not just about politics and faith? What if Solomon was guarding something far greater, something that, if discovered, could change the course of history itself? As we venture deeper into the mysteries of Solomon's lost treasures, we will uncover the final, most shocking truth about the king whose wisdom defied the ages. Stay with me, because what comes next will challenge everything you thought you knew. Beneath the golden walls of Solomon's temple, hidden beyond the sight of priests and worshippers, lay chambers of unimaginable secrecy. These were no ordinary storage rooms. They were vaults of forbidden knowledge, repositories of celestial artifacts, and possible gateways to supernatural forces. Some ancient accounts suggest that Solomon, understanding the fragility of power, hid away the most sacred and dangerous treasures to prevent them from falling into the wrong hands. But what exactly was hidden beneath the temple? Could these artifacts still exist today, waiting to be uncovered? And if so, what power do they hold? One of the most enduring mysteries is the legend of Solomon's hidden scrolls, texts said to contain divine knowledge too powerful for ordinary men. These scrolls, according to some accounts, contained secrets of the cosmos, the names of angels and demons, the mechanics of divine power, and even lost prophecies about the fate of the world. Some believe that these writings were so sacred that they were sealed in underground chambers, protected by both physical barriers and supernatural guardians. If these scrolls exist, they could hold lost wisdom, capable of altering human history. But if they were meant to stay hidden, what would happen if they were found? Another artifact that many believe was hidden beneath the temple is the Rod of Aaron, a relic with mystical properties. The Bible describes it as a staff that bloomed miraculously, proving divine authority. But some legends suggest that its power went beyond symbolism. It was said to hold the ability to control nature itself, to summon plagues, to part waters, and to invoke the will of God with a single touch. If Solomon possessed such an artifact, would he have hidden it away to keep it from those who would misuse its power? Could this rod still exist, buried beneath the ruins of Jerusalem? Then, there is the most controversial and feared artifact of all, the Seal of Solomon, an object of unimaginable influence. Some believe it was not just a ring, but a larger ancient relic, possibly a tablet or an amulet, inscribed with celestial symbols that allowed Solomon to bend reality itself. This was said to be the true source of his ability to command spirits, control elements, and unlock hidden dimensions of power. If such an object existed, it would explain why Solomon was feared not just by kings, but by forces beyond the human realm. But what if these treasures were never meant to be discovered again? Some ancient texts hint that Solomon, as his downfall became inevitable, ordered his most trusted scribes and guardians to seal these relics away, ensuring that they would never fall into the hands of the unworthy. This aligns with certain theories that suggest secret societies, mystical orders, and even religious institutions have sought to protect, or possibly recover, these artifacts for centuries. Could this explain why some expeditions to uncover Solomon's lost treasures have ended in mysterious failures, disappearances, and even deaths? Some believe that the Knights Templar, during their occupation of Jerusalem, may have discovered some of these relics hidden beneath the ruins of the temple. There are whispers in esoteric circles that fragments of Solomon's knowledge may have survived, carried through time by hidden orders, powerful organizations, and those who guard history's greatest secrets. If this is true, then Solomon's influence did not die with his kingdom. It lives on, hidden in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to resurface. But perhaps the greatest mystery of all is why Solomon hid these treasures in the first place. Was it simply to protect them from foreign invaders? Or did he foresee a time when their power would be too dangerous for mankind to possess? What if Solomon had glimpsed a prophecy, a warning that if these objects were ever reunited, they could bring about events too powerful to control? As we continue our journey into the final secrets of Solomon's kingdom, we will uncover what may be the most important revelation of all, the fate of the Ark of the Covenant, and the terrifying possibilities of its return. Stay with me, because what comes next will shake the foundations of everything you thought you knew. The Ark of the Covenant was more than just a relic. It was believed to be the most powerful artifact in human history. Containing the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, the Ark was said to radiate a divine presence so intense that it could level entire armies, strike down the unworthy, and emit an energy beyond human comprehension. It was not simply a representation of God's covenant with Israel. It was a weapon, a portal, a force beyond earthly understanding. But what happened to it? How could something so powerful vanish without a trace? And if it were ever to be found, would the world even be ready for its return? The disappearance of the Ark is one of history's greatest enigmas. The Babylonians destroyed Solomon's temple in 586 BC, but no record exists of them ever seizing the Ark. In fact, after its last biblical mention, it is never heard of again. Some believe that foreseeing the invasion, Solomon had the Ark hidden deep beneath the temple, placing it within a secret chamber protected by mystical seals. If this is true, could the Ark still be lying beneath the ruins of Jerusalem waiting for the right moment to be uncovered? And if so, what unimaginable power does it still hold? Others claim the Ark was smuggled out of Israel and taken on a perilous journey across continents. One of the most compelling theories suggests that it was carried to Ethiopia, where it remains in the Church of St. Mary of Zion, guarded by a single monk who never leaves the compound. According to this tradition, the Ark is so holy that no one else is allowed to see it, and those who attempt to uncover its secrets meet untimely fates. But could it really be hidden in plain sight? Or is this merely a distraction from its true location? Another theory suggests that the Ark was never meant to remain in human hands, that it was a vessel of divine energy, retrieved by celestial forces who recognized its potential danger. Could it have been taken beyond the physical world, placed in a realm where it cannot be misused? Some esoteric traditions claim that the Ark was not merely a religious artifact, but a cosmic conduit, a bridge between dimensions, one that, if misused, could bring about unthinkable consequences. There are whispers that modern secret societies, governments, and powerful organizations have spent decades searching for the Ark. Some claim that if it were found, it could unlock knowledge lost to time, revealing the secrets of creation, the fabric of existence, and even the true nature of divine power. But the question remains, if the Ark is still out there, should it be disturbed? Would revealing its secrets bring enlightenment or destruction? Solomon understood the delicate balance of power and wisdom better than anyone. If he truly foresaw the collapse of his kingdom, could he have left behind hidden instructions, encoded messages, or even a final prophecy about the fate of the Ark? Did he warn that the world was not yet ready for its true power? And if those warnings were ignored, could rediscovering the Ark be the key to humanity's next great awakening, or its downfall? But the Ark was not the only force at play in Solomon's story. There was another power lurking within his kingdom, one that many refuse to speak of. Some ancient texts suggest that Solomon, in his quest for wisdom, ventured too far, exploring not only the realms of divine knowledge, but also the forbidden, the world of spirits, shadows, and forces beyond human understanding. Could it be that Solomon's greatest mistake was not his political decisions, nor his harem of wives, but his dealings with supernatural entities? As we step into the darkest chapter of his reign, we will uncover a truth that has been hidden for centuries, the secret forces that Solomon may have unleashed upon the world. Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal the most chilling secret of all. Solomon's greatest strength was his wisdom, but what if that wisdom came at a cost far greater than anyone imagined? While he was known as the wisest king in history, some ancient texts suggest that his knowledge extended beyond the realms of human understanding, that he had access to forces both divine and forbidden. Could it be that Solomon's true source of power was not just his intelligence, but his ability to command supernatural entities? If so, what price did he pay for such knowledge? And more importantly, did he unleash something that could never be controlled? The Testament of Solomon, a mysterious text attributed to the king himself, details how he used a divine ring to summon and control spirits, both angelic and demonic. With this ring, Solomon was said to bind 72 powerful demons, forcing them to build his temple, reveal hidden secrets, and even assist in his rise to power. Each of these entities had a unique ability. Some controlled the winds and the seas, others had knowledge of the stars and the future, while some could shape reality itself. But if Solomon truly controlled such beings, was it a sign of divine favor? Or had he crossed a line that was never meant to be crossed? Many believe that commanding spirits is never without consequence. While Solomon may have used his ring to control these entities, the question remains, was he truly in control, or did they manipulate him instead? Ancient legends suggest that as Solomon's power grew, so did the influence of these supernatural beings. They whispered secrets of hidden dimensions, cosmic knowledge, and untapped power, leading Solomon to explore realms beyond human comprehension. Some say that he began to rely more on this forbidden knowledge than on divine wisdom, a mistake that would ultimately lead to his downfall. One of the most chilling stories surrounding Solomon's dealings with supernatural entities involves the loss of his divine ring. Some accounts say that a rebellious spirit tricked him, stole the ring, and cast it into the depths of the sea. Without it, Solomon was said to have lost his supernatural authority, his kingdom began to crumble, and he was forced into exile. Others claim that Solomon, realizing the danger of the ring, chose to hide it away, ensuring that no mortal would ever wield its power again. If this is true, where is the ring today? Could it still exist, waiting to be discovered? And if someone were to find it, would they gain ultimate wisdom, or unleash something far more terrifying? But what if Solomon did not merely summon and control spirits, but actually made pacts with them? Some esoteric traditions claim that Solomon sought knowledge that even angels dared not speak of, secrets that would allow him to see beyond the limits of time and space. Could it be that Solomon unlocked doors that were never meant to be opened? Did he make agreements that would affect the fate of humanity for generations to come? If Solomon's power was truly so great, then why did his kingdom fall into ruin? Why was his temple destroyed? Could it be that he had become too powerful, that he had learned truths that no man was meant to know? Some say that when the temple fell, so did the last of Solomon's supernatural protections, allowing the forces he once controlled to roam free. If this is true, then what happened to those entities? Do they still exist, hidden in the shadows of history, waiting for the day when someone reopens Solomon's forbidden knowledge? But perhaps the greatest mystery of all is this: was Solomon truly punished for his actions, or was he preparing for something greater? Some scholars believe that his final years were spent in secrecy, writing down everything he had learned, leaving behind clues, riddles, and warnings for those who would come after him. Could it be that hidden within ancient texts, beneath forgotten temples, or within the symbols of secret societies, Solomon's knowledge still lingers, waiting for someone to decipher the truth? As we uncover the final, most haunting secrets of his legacy, we must ask, was Solomon a ruler blessed by God, or a man who dared to challenge the divine order itself? Stay with me, because what comes next may be the most dangerous revelation of all. As Solomon's reign neared its end, the signs of his downfall became impossible to ignore. Once a king whose wisdom had astounded the world, he now found himself surrounded by whispers of betrayal, divine displeasure, and an impending catastrophe. His once unshakable kingdom had begun to fracture, his alliances weakened, and his own people questioned his rule. But what had truly changed? Was it mere politics and greed, or had Solomon's dealings with supernatural forces set into motion a fate he could no longer control? The prophets of Israel, once loyal to their king, began to speak against him. They warned that his obsession with foreign gods, his construction of pagan altars, and his alliances through marriage had angered the God of Israel. Some say that visions plagued Solomon's final years, visions of his temple reduced to rubble, of his kingdom divided, and of his name being remembered not just as a wise ruler, but as a man who lost his way. Did Solomon foresee his own downfall, or was he simply ignoring the warnings that had been in front of him all along? Perhaps the most chilling prophecy came from Ahijah the Shilonite, a prophet who warned that Solomon's kingdom would not survive in its current form. He spoke of a future where Israel would be split in two, where Solomon's descendants would lose the divine favor that had once protected them. These words must have shaken Solomon to his core, but rather than turn back, he continued his relentless search for knowledge, delving deeper into forbidden realms, seeking answers that might allow him to rewrite his fate. Could it be that Solomon believed that with the right knowledge, the right ritual, or the right sacrifice, he could defy the prophecy and reclaim his power? Some accounts suggest that Solomon spent his final years in secrecy, retreating from the public eye. It is said that he became obsessed with ancient texts, secret knowledge, and prophecies hidden within the stars. He searched for ways to prolong his reign, to hold on to the power that was slipping from his grasp. Some even claim that he attempted to communicate with divine and supernatural forces, seeking a final revelation that would grant him the ability to alter the destiny of his people. But was he truly seeking wisdom? Or was this desperation masked as enlightenment? One of the most disturbing theories is that Solomon may have attempted one last forbidden ritual, one that was meant to unlock a hidden force, summon an entity, or gain knowledge that had been kept from mankind. If this is true, could this ritual have backfired, sealing his fate forever? Some believe that in his last moments, Solomon finally realized the cost of his ambition, understanding that some knowledge was never meant to be acquired. But by then, it was too late. The balance had already been broken, and his kingdom was already set on a path to ruin. After Solomon's death, his worst fears came true. His once mighty empire collapsed, splitting into two weakened nations, Israel and Judah. His temple, the very structure built to house the divine presence, would eventually be destroyed by the Babylonians, leaving behind only ruins and mysteries. His legendary artifacts, his scrolls of knowledge, his hidden chambers beneath the temple, all of it vanished, leaving behind only questions that have never been fully answered. Was this just the natural course of history, or was it the consequence of Solomon's choices? But perhaps the most unsettling mystery is this: what if Solomon's knowledge never truly disappeared? What if, hidden within ancient texts, secret societies, and forgotten ruins, his final revelations still exist, waiting to be uncovered? Could it be that the world has not yet seen the full consequences of his search for ultimate wisdom? And if someone today were to uncover the lost secrets of Solomon, would they bring enlightenment, or would they repeat the same mistakes that led to the fall of the greatest king in history? Stay with me, because in the final part of this journey, we will uncover the greatest question of all. Was Solomon's fall a warning for the future, and could his lost knowledge still change the course of history? Solomon's story did not end with his death. His legacy transcended time, his name echoing through the halls of history as both a king of unparalleled wisdom and a ruler who courted forces beyond his understanding. But what if his greatest legacy was not his kingdom, his temple, or his wealth, but rather the secrets he left behind? Could it be that hidden within ancient texts, buried beneath ruins, or locked away in the hands of secret societies, Solomon's knowledge still lingers, waiting for the right moment to resurface? If so, what would happen if that knowledge was rediscovered? Would it lead to a new golden age of enlightenment? Or would it awaken something best left forgotten? Throughout history, countless scholars, mystics, and rulers have searched for Solomon's lost wisdom. Some believe his scrolls of divine knowledge were smuggled away before the fall of Jerusalem, carried through secret channels, and hidden within esoteric texts, encoded messages, and underground vaults. Others suspect that powerful organizations, the Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, or even the Vatican, may have uncovered fragments of Solomon's secrets, guarding them for an unknown purpose. Could it be that the knowledge he acquired, the very wisdom that shaped his kingdom, was too powerful to be lost and has instead been preserved in the shadows? Theories also abound regarding Solomon's artifacts of power, his ring, his lost books, the Ark of the Covenant. Some claim they were hidden within the Temple Mount, buried deep beneath its foundations, waiting for the day when they would be needed again. Others insist they were taken across continents, concealed in ancient strongholds, monasteries, or remote desert caves. But the most disturbing question is this: if these artifacts still exist, who is searching for them, and what do they intend to do with them? Modern researchers, biblical archaeologists, and conspiracy theorists have spent decades following the clues left behind in ancient texts, trying to piece together the lost puzzle of Solomon's final secrets. Some claim that within the hidden mathematics of his temple, within the geometric alignments of ancient sites, or within the untranslated passages of obscure scrolls, Solomon encoded messages meant for a future generation. But were these messages meant to illuminate humanity, or to warn us about a danger we have yet to understand? One of the most chilling aspects of Solomon's legacy is his connection to prophecy. Some esoteric traditions claim that Solomon foresaw a future event tied to the reconstruction of his temple, an event that could change the course of human civilization forever. Many believe that the Third Temple, should it ever be rebuilt, would mark the return of Solomon's lost knowledge, unlocking mysteries that have been hidden for thousands of years. Could it be that Solomon's influence is not a thing of the past, but rather a force waiting to be reawakened? If Solomon's wisdom were rediscovered today, what would be the consequences? Would it usher in a new age of enlightenment, providing humanity with knowledge that transcends science, philosophy, and spirituality? Or would it become a weapon in the wrong hands, something that could be exploited for power, domination, and even destruction? Perhaps this is why his knowledge was hidden in the first place, not because it was meant to be lost, but because it was meant to be protected from those who would misuse it. So now we are left with a final haunting question. What if the story of Solomon is not just history, but a warning? What if his search for ultimate wisdom was both his greatest achievement and his greatest downfall? And what if, even today, we are still walking the same dangerous path, seeking knowledge, power, and control over forces we may never fully understand? Perhaps the lesson of Solomon is not just about his rise or his fall, but about the choices we continue to make. Will we learn from his mistakes, or are we destined to repeat them? If this journey has opened your eyes to something greater, don't let it stop here. Share this knowledge, discuss it, and keep searching for the truth. Because some secrets are meant to be uncovered, but others are hidden for a reason. Solomon's influence did not end with his death, nor did the mysteries surrounding his rule fade with time. Instead, his legend grew, evolving into something larger than history itself. The deeper one looks into his reign, the clearer it becomes that Solomon's story is not just about wisdom or wealth. It is about something much more profound: forbidden knowledge, supernatural power, and the delicate balance between divine favor and human ambition. But the real question is, was Solomon's knowledge truly lost, or was it hidden? If hidden, then by whom? And most importantly, why? Some believe Solomon's most dangerous discoveries were never written down in public records, but instead encoded in secret texts, concealed within the architecture of the temple, or passed down through hidden esoteric traditions. There are whispers that before his fall, Solomon left behind warnings, prophecies, and cryptic instructions, knowing that one day, his lost wisdom might resurface. If this is true, then his story is not just an ancient tale. It is a puzzle waiting to be solved. But could it be that some knowledge is too dangerous to reveal? And if it ever comes to light, will it lead to enlightenment or destruction? Throughout history, secretive groups have been accused of seeking, guarding, or possessing fragments of Solomon's knowledge. Some claim the Freemasons, an organization deeply connected to biblical symbolism and sacred architecture, have ties to Solomon's lost wisdom, passed down through generations of hidden scholars and builders. Others suggest that Vatican archives contain documents detailing Solomon's dealings with supernatural forces, locked away to prevent the misuse of ancient and forbidden truths. If these claims are even partially true, it raises a profound question. Has Solomon's knowledge already shaped history in ways we do not yet understand? But perhaps the most compelling mystery of all is the Third Temple prophecy. Many believe that when Solomon's temple is rebuilt, it will mark the beginning of a new era, either one of divine restoration or one of chaos and upheaval. Could it be that Solomon foresaw this event, knowing that his knowledge would only be revealed at the right time? And if so, are the mysteries of his reign still guiding the course of history, waiting for the moment when the world is finally ready to unlock his secrets? Even if Solomon's knowledge was hidden, the traces of his influence still remain, etched into sacred texts, ancient symbols, and even the layout of historic cities. Some researchers claim that Jerusalem itself was designed with esoteric principles, mirroring the structure of the heavens, embedding within its streets and foundations clues to Solomon's lost wisdom. Others argue that certain astronomical alignments within ancient temples suggest that Solomon's teachings were based on a cosmic understanding far ahead of his time. Could it be that his greatest secret was not his wealth or his power, but his mastery over the unseen forces of the universe? This theory aligns with an unsettling idea that Solomon may have not only communicated with supernatural entities, but also learned to manipulate reality itself. Some traditions describe him as a sorcerer king, a man who did not just rule with wisdom, but with arcane power, one who understood the fundamental laws of creation and how to bend them to his will. If true, it could explain why his name appears across so many mystical traditions, from Jewish Kabbalah to Islamic lore, from medieval grimoires to modern occultism. What knowledge did Solomon possess that made him a figure of legend across different civilizations? One possibility is that Solomon's greatest discovery was not physical treasure, but knowledge capable of reshaping human destiny. Some believe he understood the true nature of energy, sound, and vibration, and that his temple was not just a place of worship, but a spiritual machine designed to harness divine frequencies. If this is true, then Solomon's real secret was not his wealth or his wisdom, but his ability to tap into forces beyond time and space. Did he leave behind clues to this knowledge, hidden in texts that have yet to be decoded? And if so, who is searching for them today? History has shown that those who seek forbidden knowledge often meet tragic ends. Could this be why Solomon's own story ended in downfall? Some believe that his pursuit of ultimate wisdom led him into dangerous territories where even divine favor could not protect him. If so, is humanity destined to repeat his mistake? Or will we finally understand that some knowledge is not meant to be wielded by mortals? But if Solomon's downfall was truly the result of pushing beyond divine limits, why did so many rulers after him attempt to follow in his footsteps? Why did great empires from the Romans to the Ottomans obsess over the secrets of Solomon's temple? What were they really searching for? Some believe that beyond the myths, beyond the biblical accounts, there lies an untold history, one that has been deliberately suppressed. If Solomon's knowledge was truly lost, why do so many secret traditions claim to possess fragments of it? Perhaps the answer lies in the occult significance of Solomon's name itself. Across multiple cultures, his name has been linked to magical seals, divine geometry, and the hidden laws of the universe. Some believe that the so-called Seal of Solomon, a powerful symbol found in mystical traditions, was not just an emblem of power, but a representation of a cosmic truth, a formula that, if understood, could unlock the hidden forces governing reality itself? Was Solomon's greatest discovery not of wealth or wisdom, but of the very fabric of existence? If so, the implications are staggering. It would mean that Solomon's temple, his writings, his artifacts, everything, was designed with a purpose far beyond what history has recorded. It would suggest that his reign was not merely about governance, but about preserving a knowledge so ancient, so powerful, that it had to be encoded into architecture, symbols, and legends to survive through time. And if that is true, what happens when someone finally deciphers the full message? One thing is certain: the legend of Solomon is not just about the past, it is about the future. Whether his knowledge remains buried, or whether it is waiting to be revealed, its impact has never truly disappeared. And if humanity ever uncovers what was lost, will we use it to illuminate the path forward? Or will we repeat the very mistakes that led to the fall of Solomon's kingdom? And so, we come to the final, most haunting question of all. Was Solomon's wisdom a gift, or was it a test? Did he pass on something that was meant to help humanity? Or was his story a warning of what happens when knowledge is sought without understanding its cost? Some believe that Solomon, in his final days, understood too late that some truths are better left unknown. Others argue that his wisdom was meant to be found again, but only by those ready to wield it responsibly. Today, we stand at a crossroads. The mysteries of the past are closer to being uncovered than ever before. Archaeologists continue to search beneath Jerusalem, historians decode ancient texts, and modern science is beginning to rediscover the power of vibration, energy, and consciousness. Things Solomon may have already understood thousands of years ago. The question is no longer if we will rediscover Solomon's knowledge, but when. And when that moment comes, will we be prepared for what we find? If this journey has made you think deeper about the mysteries of history, do not let it stop here. Share your thoughts, question everything, and continue searching for the truth. Because as Solomon himself once said, with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. Are we ready to bear the burden of what he left behind? Or are we about to step into the same fate that led to his kingdom's fall? The answer may already be waiting, hidden in plain sight, if only we are willing to see it. We have journeyed through the depths of Solomon's wisdom, his rise to power, his supernatural knowledge, and the hidden mysteries of his kingdom. We have explored the secrets buried beneath his temple, the artifacts that may still exist, and the possibility that his legacy continues to shape the world in ways we may never fully understand. But now the final question remains: what will you do with this knowledge? Solomon was given everything: unmatched wisdom, limitless wealth, and divine favor. But in the end, he learned that all of it was meaningless without true obedience to God. His story is not just a lesson in history, it is a warning. He sought wisdom beyond what was given. He strayed from the path, and in the end, his kingdom crumbled. What good is power without righteousness? What good is knowledge if it leads us away from the truth? The world today is no different from Solomon's time. People still chase after power, influence, and hidden knowledge, believing that they can unlock secrets that will give them control over their fate. But Solomon himself, in his final words, left us with the only truth that truly matters: fear God and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. If the wisest man in history came to this conclusion, what does that mean for us? Now you have a choice. Will you continue to seek answers in the shadows, or will you look toward the light? The world is full of deception, false wisdom, and distractions that pull us away from what truly matters. But the real treasure, the only wisdom that lasts forever, is found in God alone. Solomon's greatest realization was not in his power, his ring, or his temple. It was in the understanding that all things fade, except the eternal truth of God. If this journey has opened your eyes, don't let it end here. Subscribe to the channel and follow Jesus. Dive deeper into the truth that has been preserved for us. The truth that does not change. The truth that leads to life instead of destruction. The mysteries of history may fascinate us, but the mystery of God's love is the greatest revelation of all. My name is Oliver, and I want to take a moment to personally thank you for being here. If you have made it this far, it means that you are someone who seeks knowledge, truth, and deeper understanding. That is rare in today's world, and I do not take it for granted. It means more to me than I can express, and I am honored to walk this journey with you. You are not alone in this search. This is not just a channel. It is a community of seekers, of believers, of those who refuse to accept the surface-level answers the world gives us. So stay with me. Let's continue uncovering the truth, growing in wisdom, and walking the path that leads to something greater than ourselves. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, stay strong, stay curious, and never stop seeking the truth. God bless you.